Hi, this is Tom Jacobs from tdjacobs.com. I am an evolutionary astrologer and an energy worker and a channel. And this is the 10th in a series of videos of the true black moon Lilith, or the oscillating apogee, in the natal houses of the birth chart, the houses of the birth chart. And my approach to Lilith is based in the true black moon, or the oscillating apogee. Most people are using the mean position, so it's highly likely that if you've been absorbing other people's ideas and work and reading what people are writing, most astrologers are talking about the mean position. I don't encourage the use of that. I encourage the true black moon, which is H13 is the numeric designation on astro.com. And also, if you just find in your astrology software, you can find a place to designate true or mean black moon or Lilith. I encourage you to follow the true position, even though its movement zigzags back and forth, so to speak. It is a point that is calculated as a function of the moon's orbit around the Earth. So it is not a planet, so we should not expect it to move like a planet. The mean position is a way of our brains, our patriarchal conditioned minds, trying to control it so it's better manageable, which is anti-Lilith. Okay, so use the true black moon. Otherwise, you're asking a blow-up doll what a woman is like. If you use the mean position, you're asking a doll what a woman is like. So the 10th house is the public part of the chart. Now, it is about work, but it's also about how you want to be perceived outside the home, or how you are perceived outside the home. It's an angular house, meaning it's begins with an angle, the 10th house, and the other angular houses are 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th. And so you can become well known or seen by others when you have a planet in the 10th house. You can become a symbol for other people of that energy, of that archetype. So you might be drawn to do work that's related to it. You might be a symbol of that in your community. You might bring that energy every time you walk out into the world. People will see it from afar in you, and they don't know anything else about you. Kind of life in the 10th house is like everybody knows that you are the Smith's kid. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, you are their kid. You're one of those. They know that because there's some business with your family name on it, and they know who you are. They don't know anything about you, but you symbolize something from afar. Okay, so that's the idea of the 10th house. And it is about ambition and our desire to achieve and be respected for our achievements. So it's also about competency in addition to ambition. Okay, now the true black moon Lilith is this instinctive wild within us. When I talk about wild, I'm talking about instinct, which is the wisdom of the natural world and the cycles of nature that live in, that are preloaded in your root chakra. They're activated when you're born, this instinctive thing. You get conditioned out of trusting your body and your instincts and your biochemistry. When something sounds great, your brain is like, that should be great, I should like that. But if your body, your skin crawls, or your stomach turns, or you just have this visceral, strong physical response, it's biochemical, that's Lilith. Most of us are conditioned out of it. So the true black moon Lilith, the subtitle of my book, Lilith, is Healing the Wild. It's healing our relationship with instinct. So we have to be autonomous. We have to go our own way. We have to trust our own instincts, and we have to be willing to say no to what constricts us, that tries to control us or dominate us or shame us or make us wrong for being counter the status quo. So the true black moon Lilith in the 10th house says, I'm a symbol for other people from afar. They don't even know me, but I present a problem. I'm that disruption to the status quo that Lilith is. I'm that voice. I'm that woman who dares to have an opinion. I'm that way of doing something at work that is not what everybody expects. So the wisdom of the natural world is automatically counter to the kinds of inside the bell curve, structures that we build for ourselves. So Lilith people at work might not fit. They might have power struggles in work environments, and when younger, in school and society environments of all kinds. because they're viewed as a disruptive force. Now, my take on, now most people will say, well, Lilith is demonic, this demon energy, the dark feminine or something like that. What I say is, you're disrupting the status quo by carrying Lilith's energy. That's true of any house in the chart, but in the 10th, it's one of the more obvious placements. So if you have True Black Moon Lilith or oscillating apogee in the 10th house, you've been made wrong for showing up. You've been made wrong for doing your work in a way that doesn't maybe fit the manual, or you've been wrong for rewriting the manual in a way that isn't what the structure that was there before you got there expected and would sanction. So you've been made wrong. You may have been sanctioned, punished. You may have been fired. You may have even been fired from a bunch of jobs for baloney reasons, because the group seems to be saying to you, the social structure seems to be saying to you, you don't fit. So Lilith people sometimes carry a bitterness, which is pain, of course, because they've been made wrong for not really doing anything wrong. And some of us who are Lilith people get caught up in the conflict that comes to us, meaning somebody accuses us of something or makes us wrong, we might fight back. That's not the best way to handle it, but a lot of us don't have any other tools to deal with that because we don't understand why we're being singled out. I'm saying we just because I identify as a Lilith person. It's not about gender assignment. It's not about pipes and plumbing and genitalia. It's not about that at all. It's about, are you totally controlled, or are you instinctive and willing to roll with whatever needs to happen in the moment? Are you present? Are you in your body? So if you think about the kinds of norms that have that can have much to do with work environments, some kinds of work environments, not all, of course. If you instinctively are inspired to go against them, or you have a style of dress that makes you feel connected to the earth or nature or the rhythms of nature or something, you might not fit, but also it's also how you function in groups, you find you might not fit. Now, with women, I say all people have Liliths, of course, but I will say that because of the gender stereotypes that we are struggling against now, coming out of these limitations, these artificial limitations imposed just because of the patriarchal agenda for the last 6,000 years to elevate the masculine above all else, which means automatically diminishing the feminine. The true story, or the full story on that, is in Lilith Healing the Wild, the book. But because we're coming out of that, women with Lilith in the 10th may experience this in a different way than men with Lilith in the 10th, because of the expectation that men might innovate, but women might ruin how things work. This is a patriarchal kind of stereotype that we have, that if a woman has an opinion, she's probably difficult. And Lilith is one of the myths of the difficult woman that I sometimes teach about. Eris is another one, and there are others, but Lilith and Eris are the loudest ones. So if you've been made wrong, then you're in the wrong place. So, and everything can be healed. It might be very difficult for you to enter into a work environment or even to be part of a public space because of the depth of pain that can come from being made wrong and even ganged up on in some ways, or shamed in some way. Now, Lilith does have to do with raw primal instinctive living, including sexuality. So sometimes people with the true Black Moon Lilith in the 10th may have revealed about them something about their personal lives that they wouldn't want to be seen, and shame can be the result. Now, if you're not willing, if you're not available to be shamed, people can say anything about you, but you trust that who you are, there's nothing wrong with it. So realize that if you have this going on, true Black Moon Lilith in the 10th, and you have felt shamed, whether personally or professionally, recognize that you can make yourself unavailable through your consciousness. You can make yourself unavailable for shame if you trust who you are. You will bring a unique voice to the world, to the workplace, to your community, to your town. You will bring a unique voice to that group you're part of, or that that place you want to be part of. And part of the thing with a planet in the 10th house or a point in the 10th house is one, to be of service to a community. If communities keep pushing you out, of course, you may have some scar tissue emotionally about that and be hesitant to do it. But you can make yourself unavailable to be ashamed for naturally who you are. And recognizing that if you're a symbol for others of Lilith energy in the 10th house, then you are holding space for them to see that maybe the old program isn't all there is. Maybe they can listen to instinct. Maybe they can be present and be creative and be in their bodies and have original ideas that are beyond the 100-year-old manual. So this is just a little overview of Lilith in the 10th house. I hope it's helpful. The book Lilith Healing the Wild, the True Black Moon Lilith Natal Report will go into delineate everything about your natal Lilith, including transits and progressions to your Lilith for the next 5 years. That's available at tdjacobs.com, and also the 7-hour Lilith intensive MP3 set where I take the themes of the book and go deeper. So thanks again for your time and energy, and take care of yourself.